So what if I told you that the secret to building better cities, better neighborhoods, a better life, wasn't some crazy futuristic megaproject? What if it was just a simple change in the rules? A change, believe it or not, inspired by video games. Today, we're going to dive into a blueprint for redesigning the very code our cities run on.
You know that feeling, right? You step outside your door and your options just feel limited, almost like the city is actively working against you instead of for you.
You see it everywhere. These vast, empty oceans of asphalt. They're just dead spaces, really, designed for storing cars, not for people. And they eat up an absolutely incredible amount of valuable land that could be parks or homes or local businesses.
Or maybe you're faced with these massive roads. They're loud, they're polluted, and they literally create these huge barriers right through our communities. They're engineered just for moving cars as fast as possible, and they completely ignore the fact that we're people who might want to, walk across the street safely. And all of this leads to neighborhoods where you have to get in your car for absolutely everything. A cup of coffee, a loaf of bread, you name it. But here's the key thing to understand. This is not an accident. It's not random. It's the direct result of a very specific set of rules. Okay, let's get into it.
So to fix the problem, we first have to understand the diagnosis. And the root cause is this one big idea that has shaped pretty much every modern city in the Western world.
It's called single-use zoning. And it's this idea that everything has to have its own separate place. You live over here, you work way over there, and you shop somewhere else entirely. This is a really deliberate choice, especially after World War II when the car was king. But the result? We designed cities where homes can't be near shops and offices can't be near homes. This rigid separation is the fundamental reason we are so dependent on cars.
And oh boy, have we made this system complicated. Get this, in a country like New Zealand, for example, planners are juggling almost 1,200 different types of zones. Each one has its own giant rule book, creating this nightmare of complexity that actually stops good, sensible development from ever happening.
And what this quote is really getting at is that the system stops our neighborhoods from evolving naturally. It makes it illegal for a little corner store or a local cafe to open up down the street, which forces everyone back into their cars. It just reinforces the exact problems we're trying to solve.
But what if there's a better way? I mean, a radically simpler model that actually gives our communities the freedom to grow and adapt. And this isn't some fantasy. It's already working in other parts of the world.
Now, what's so wild about this slide is just the sheer contrast. Look at Japan. Here you have a country with some of the most amazing, vibrant, walkable cities on the planet, and they manage their entire national planning system with just 13 zones. 13! It's kind of stunning when you think about how simplicity can lead to such better results.
So how does it work? Well, the Japanese system is permissive by default. Instead of a huge list of what's forbidden, it's a short list of what's allowed, and it allows a mix of uses in almost every zone. So a low-rise residential area can have small shops and schools. A commercial zone can have apartments right on top. It's just common sense.
And the magic ingredient that makes all this possible is a powerful principle called mixed use as of right. Basically, it just means that if you follow the simple rules for a zone, like height and safety stuff, you can build what the zone allows without spending years begging for special permission. It just unleashes development and lets communities actually respond to what they need.
Now, when you start talking about more development, I know what some people think. They hear density and immediately picture giant skyscrapers blocking out the sun. But this new blueprint, it's not about that at all. It's about enabling a much more gentle, human-scaled kind of density.
It's called the missing middle. And really, these are all the housing types that used to be totally normal in our cities, but we basically zone them out of existence. We're talking about things like townhouses, duplexes, and those nice, small 3-story apartment buildings. They perfectly bridge that gap between a single-family house and a giant downtown tower. And the benefits are just so clear. When you allow the missing middle to be built, you get neighborhoods that are dense enough to support local shops and frequent public transit, but they're still green and pleasant and feel human-scaled. You get walkability, a sense of community, and a high quality of life, all layered together.
Now, adopting this new blueprint, it requires a pretty fundamental shift in what a city planner actually does, from being a gatekeeper who mostly says no, to being an enabler who creates the conditions for yes.
Under the current, super complex system, planners often get stuck in what you might call design nitpicking. This is a real-world example, by the way, where a developer was told 3 different contradictory things about which way their front doors should face. I mean, that kind of stuff just causes massive delays and frustration for everyone.
So the new vision totally redefines that role. The planner's job is to apply the simple, clear, standardized zone. That's the framework. And after that, it's up to the developer, the architect, and the community to figure out the rest, to adapt to the local context without a planner trying to micromanage every single decision.
And this right here is where that video game analogy really clicks into place. Think about a game like Cities Skylines. The person who designed the game doesn't place every single building, right? No, they create a really robust set of rules, the zoning tools, the road networks, that empowers you, the player, to build a great city. And that's the planner's new job, to be the designer of a great system, not the builder of every single house.
So the path forward is actually pretty clear. First, we diagnose the problem. Our rules are way too complex and car-focused. Second, we simplify those rules with a standardized mixed-use code, something we know already works. Third, we enable that gentle density by allowing the missing middle to be built again. And finally, we redefine the planner's role to focus on enabling great communities, not controlling every little detail.
So I'll just leave you with this one thought. The next time you're out and you look at one of those massive empty parking lots, don't just see a sea of asphalt. Try to see an ocean of hidden potential, a place where a whole new block of homes and shops and cafes could rise up if only we have the courage to change the code.